Good evening, good day, good afternoon for whoever is watching this, whenever you're watching this. This is Anthony Spencer again for the Voice Spotlight. Uh, as many of you know, that I have had a lot of authors on my spotlights, and I'm going to introduce you to Matthew Horne. Can I call you Matthew?
Sure.
All right. Um, Matthew, who is an author. uh, in his own right, but that's not the reason he is here this evening. I have found out in talking to a lot of my authors that it isn't just the writing and getting it down that turns out to be the biggest headache for getting their product out there. It is usually the publishing. So, Matthew is here tonight, and we're going to talk about lightning fast book publishing. First of all, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. I look at the 240, so you're in the Maryland area.
Yes, yes. I'm actually located in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. So, we are going to talk about lightning fast publishing. And if I'm looking this way, it's because I actually have two screens. So,
Okay.
where your center is at is a little bit off. But I don't think we can talk about lightning fast book publishing without finding out who you are. Who is Matthew Horne?
Okay. I usually go by Matthew C. Horne. I'm a author of 7 books, a motivational speaker, and and a book publisher as well. And I also do dating coaching because some of my books are dating centric. I've written a book to men and to women in regards to dating. So that's the crux of who I am. I'm from born in Washington D.C., raised in Prince George's County. Uh, Played Division I basketball at Coastal Carolina University, and essentially got my first book contract by two of Les Brown's top young speakers when I was 22, my last semester of college, and that was 20 years ago, and that brings me here. Yeah.
You did that at 22, and that's 22 years ago?
Yes, I'm 42 now.
Yeah, you don't look it. You don't
Yeah.
look
You gotta keep the stress
it.
away, and you know what I'm saying?
Well, and,
That's it.
and
Keep the
I've
stress
heard a
away.
lot just in your intro that I might have to pull you back on a couple of things.
Okay.
Um, um, so let's get into Lightning Fast book publishing. How did Lightning Fast book publishing come about?
Lightning Fast book publishing came about in 2012. Um, it was God's divine providence is the best way I can describe it. Um, I My mother actually got me a vending space at an event at her church at the time, and that church had another church. It was sort of a thing, and I did not have enough books to do a book signing, and I wasn't going to show up. My mother said, "Just come anyway," and so I showed up, and I had just produced this book right here. Choice is the Young Black Man's Guide to Successful Living. I had just produced it in 3 weeks. And so I showed up with a few copies of my books, a laptop so people could see my website. And I created a sign that said, "I will publish your book in 3 weeks." Because I had been doing publishing consulting before that, but this was the first time I really entered into full-fledged book publishing. That was 2012. And a young lady saw the sign, the pastor saw the sign, promoted me from stage, and a young lady signed with me, and I published her book in 3 weeks. And then someone else signed with me, and I published their book in 3 weeks. And not just published the book, we built the website, set up the distribution, did everything because I understand that there, there doesn't have to be unnecessary delays. And so I was a testament to that to myself before I was a testament to that to others. So that's how I got started. The word spread, I networked and was faithful over what I was given. And that brought me here.
Okay. And you went down into one of my questions. That's often sometimes when I talk that I have questions and I don't have them in exact form, but you answered one of them. But 3 weeks. Um, Again, talking to a lot of the authors that have appeared on Spotlight, you're actually speaking with Belinda Lane, who's a sister of mine from my younger days. And I'm sure she's told you some of the problems that she's had.
Oh yeah.
I do some light editing to her work, her content. So I'm talking to her, and like I say, I talked to them about the problems with publishing. But you say 3 weeks, and that's most cases. I'm sure some extend over, but you shoot for that 3 weeks. How do you hold it to that 3 weeks?
Because everyone who works for me, I'm heavily integrated into the process as well. I have an English degree, so there are a lot of the aspects of production that I oversee and that I insert myself in as well. But everyone knows that quality does not take an inordinate amount of time. So if you work for me, you understand the prerequisites of what I expect. And so everyone has the same level of urgency and understanding that they have to produce quality and they have to do it with speed. So there are aspects of publishing that don't have to be parceled out in terms of doing them in succession. They can actually be done simultaneously. So everyone is working with discipline and focus simultaneously, and that's how we create a superior product in 3 weeks.
So in talking with Belinda, she's talked to you directly.
Yes.
So, is that a reasonable expectation of an author that they will speak to you when they call into Lightning Fast?
Yes, I'm very accessible, and I'm an author before I'm a publisher. So I hopped on the sword to bring, everything in-house to run in rapid succession with quality. I created that product based on the struggles that many of the first-time, second, and third-time authors face out here, trying to pool the resources of what it takes to publish and do it on their own. So accessibility is what I pride myself on, in addition to speed and quality, and they can expect to speak with me. They can definitely expect to speak with me.
So, your challenges in your own work
Yeah.
that played a part in you doing the publishing?
Yes, it did. My first book, I'll show you my first book right here.
And I'm
I,
glad
I,
you bought those because I wanted to see your own books too, because I'd like to show that too.
yeah, I have 6 of the 7 right here beside me. So whenever you're ready, I can show you all of them. But this is my first book right here. The universe is inviting you in. Your best life possible awaits you. This one came out in June 25th of 2007. I was 24 years old.
Okay.
No, I was 23. I wasn't 24 yet. My birthday was days away. And I went through a lot of challenges, spent an unnecessary amount of money to publish it. I had to get multiple editors to do it. One editor's focused on going on vacation. I'm bringing errors back to her. She doesn't care. She wants her money. Then the next editor, they did a hell of a job. I mean, they cleaned that thing up. And I had already spent roughly $5,000 in editing before I got it right. And not to mention the amount of websites that I had to go through to, some people didn't have the talent, but they definitely wanted the money, and I didn't know. And then I have to pay somebody else to do it. And, I looked up and I probably was 20 grand in the hole before I knew it.
Yeah.
And by God's grace, I could get out there and hustle, and I was diligent over the product, and it came out good. So I was able to sell the copies, but um, I knew that there was a better way, that I could create reliable, valuable resources and get this done much faster than what it took. Because the gamble of trying to parcel it together on your own is you don't know who's going to work with quality, who's going to work with fervor. So you can have an editor that does a good job, gets your book back to you in a couple of weeks or something like that. But you can have a designer that's slacking and isn't the best, and you have to keep going back and forth with them to try to get your vision. And then you realize, all right, I just lost the money. I need to get somebody else to do it. So that's always a gamble because there's so many different participants in your publishing process. You have editors, designers. You're gonna have to get a website. You hopefully you can secure some distribution. Like it's a lot of components that go into that, and it's a gamble to go out there and figure it out on your own because you can't trust every individual that's going to be instrumental in your publishing process. You don't know what they're going to produce.
Right. And I have heard the horror stories from the authors that I have spoken to. So I went out. I when Belinda contacted me, and she wanted to know if, this was a good fit for her. So ex-Fed, I did some little background research
Yeah.
and I did some things and it all seemed very interesting to me. So that's why I reached back to her to reach to you. Um, but in going to your website, I see that you've got I guess you can call it your library because you've done most of the publishing. So it looks like a large amount of books that you've done. Um, I see that a lot, and VLF Nation and the Spotlight, by association, is kind of faith-based, positive, and such. But I see a lot of your books you've published have been faith-based or let's leave it at faith-based or um, positive. I don't know if you know the demographics, but is that where a large amount of your business come from? Has it been that word of mouth? Like you say, you started, at a vendor's table at your mom's church, correct?
Yeah.
And so was it word of mouth that hey, this guy he's legit, he's the real thing, and has that large base of faith base come through that? Or what is the demographic or if you know the demographic for the books that you do publish?
Okay, that's a great question. I've been able to bring notoriety from that day of that table at my mother's church to my company, just by doing right by people. I think that's something that's lost in business. They try to take advantage of people one time, not understanding that that person's going to come back and they're going to refer people to you. So, um, and just from character, I was incentivized based on the fact that I'm an author before a publisher to do right by people. And once I created a superior product and was able to do right by people, then they were able to tell other people and they were able to come back to me as well. In addition to that, I did a lot of public appearances, especially in the beginning stages of my company. I was doing, for years, I was doing book signings every weekend and keeping my face out there, keeping my company out there, documenting everything on social media. A lot of public relations was done, by me to keep myself in front of people and networking. And, I was out there because I was serious about the belief that I had in the product that I had. So that's what kept me out there. And it just so happens that if you look at the catalog of books on lfbookpublishing.com, our publishing website, it covers a myriad of subject matter. Faith-based it definitely has a presence, but then you have children's books, you have motivational books, memoirs, uh, fiction books, and everything in between. So a lot of it, I didn't cater to a specific demographic. It was just God's grace, and it's a ministry as well. So I look at myself as not just a company, as a vessel. And if God has inspired someone to get a message out, then if you're truly serious about your inspiration, then the way is going to appear. And I've just been able to be the way for a lot of faith-based and Christian authors, but been the way for a lot of authors in other demographics as well. And we've been able to create um, some very good books. Now, one thing I will say is that when Jesus was on the earth, a very large part of his ministry, he spoke in parable. So a parable is a representation of God's grace for humanity and God's love for humanity, meaning he can communicate with every person and reach them where they are to show them who he is, right? So some of the books that you don't know are faith-based that are in that catalog, like the Redemptive Love series. Doris H. Dancy, she wrote the Redemptive Love series. If you look at her books, they're fictional, but they're faith-based, and there's lessons in them as well that will increase people's quality of life. So I'm not necessarily married to just someone, with a Christian topic or Christian title, because I understand that messages are also parables that can come to the same outcome as someone just creating a faith-based book as well.
That was very well said. That was very well said. So, I myself, though Belinda wants me to be an author or to get into the game, um, I have not delved deep into even with the like I said, I've helped her try to make choices when it came to that and making sure that if she is going to spend her money, that it is where she should be spending it at. But I hadn't heard of your company. I don't know why, because I like everything that you're saying. I did when I was doing my research, there's someone that has a company, the name is very close to yours. So I'm going to make sure that when I do this spotlight, that I'm going to make sure that they don't go to the wrong website. But for the beginning author, the fledgling author, or the seasoned author, why should they take a look at Lightning Fast?
They should take a look at Lightning Fast Book Publishing because I can extract the message that's inside of you that's harassing you. They're inspired, something's harassing them. They're trying, there's something that they were sent here to birth, and I can provide the most valuable part in the equation. I can help them to write their books. And I think that's what's missing with publishing. A lot of people, they just want the book to be finished, and rightfully so, that's their right. But I sign authors who haven't written one word, and I give them the same outline system that I used for my first book, The Universe is Inviting You In. I created an outline. I outlined my book. I went to see Tony Robbins in Denver, Colorado. Someone gave me a ticket. I was days removed from graduating from college. Like, my destiny was in motion. I said yes when I knew my purpose. So things were moving fast.
Mhm.
And I outlined an entire book from a flight from Denver, Colorado to BWI Airport. The outline system was so potent that I literally believe I was given this system. I did it right on the plane, right? I wrote the first 3 chapters in my book in 3 days. It was happening in real time, and I had never done anything like this before. I had co-authored a book. I did it, a couple chapters, but I mean, yeah, one chapter, but I had never delved into writing a book, and I was able to write the first 3 chapters in 3 days. So when I began to sign authors, I began to give them my outline system, and once I gave them my system, then they began to write their books in 2 months. That was the average. They never done it before. And then once they wrote it in 2 months, I published it in 3 weeks. So I began to see this repeatedly, and then something else began to happen. I started having authors who were novices, first time authors. I started having them write books in 3 weeks, just from an outline system, because I was able to help them to identify the most potent pieces of information within the frame of what they wanted to communicate, and expound on those. I showed them how to do it and write organically. So if you sign with me, I'll give you a system, and every time you sit down to write, it's guaranteed that you'll write one chapter every time you sit down.
Wow.
So that's what happened. And that's the greatest benefit that I have to offer. And I also have 20 years of experience. I'm not a fly by night company. And you can research me. I'm hiding in plain sight. You can see the works that I've written, how far they've gone. And everything that I've done for myself, I do nothing but replicate it for my authors. So any new piece of advancement that I experience, because I'm still an author, I extend it to my clients, and I create it as a product to accelerate their growth so they don't have to try it on their own.
Okay.
So the last thing I'll say is I have a new book publishing package, the Media Personality Book Publishing Package. I was able to get serious about YouTube, begin to speak on my dating and relationship books, and get monetized within, I would say, within 5 or 6 months, which is a rare feat, because you have to get 1,000 subscribers and go through a few
Exactly.
channels.
Exactly.
And I began to make money. My book sales increased. I began coaching men all over the world just by being consistent on YouTube and talking about different topics from my book. So I said, I can't keep that to myself. So I created the Media Personality Book Publishing Package. I get paid from YouTube 6 ways every month, talking into a camera for absolutely free. And so that's why you should sign with my company. I'm an author before a publisher. I'm going to show you how to do the most important thing, which is write your book. I'm going to give you global distribution, get you on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, design a website that speaks to the credibility of who you are. And then I'm going to continue to advance you as I advance as an author. So just how someone can get on the phone with me, my imprint and my spirit is on my company. So my company is about advancement. So you sign with me, there's going to be no delays. There's only going to be advancement.
Right. So you spoke on it, and I'm glad you brought some of those items up. Uh, Again, doing my research, and I know that you know the authors that are going to be seeing this they're going to be thinking about the price, and we'll talk about the price shortly. You're very open with your price. Your pricing structure is right there online that I've seen. But I noticed that you mentioned your outline, but you have some other products that are available. And can you tell us maybe just a few of them? Because you have a number of products that are available other than just the publishing, you know. Could you tell us about a couple of the other products that you offer?
Most of my products are integrated into publishing. So, I mean, even if I have something that's separate, even if I just offer editing,
Hmm.
um, I guess I could just go into the products like you said. You know, we do, you know, book cover design,
There you go.
interior layout. We design the websites. We do public relations as well. So I have a marketing management and PR company that's integrated into my publishing company. So if you have an existing book, we can get your book out there as far as you want it to go, and I can keep you inundated with media appearances, book signings, and whatever else you need. Um, yeah, that's essentially it. All components of book publishing, from the cover design, interior layout, the websites, typesetting, editing, all of the nuances and inner workings of book publishing. We do offer them separately, but that's for people who can't see me in a capacity like this. You know, um, those are for people who would never ordinarily speak with me in person. They can decide if they want to a la carte things and things like that. But I always would push for a publishing package. Number one, it's less expensive. And number two, it's something that I can stand behind because I understand the quality of what comes out of my publishing house.
Okay. So let's get into your publishing packages. Um, I saw four, but is it just still just four, or is just more? Is it more that it's just haven't appeared on the website yet?
Yes, there's more that haven't appeared on the website yet because these are brand new as of the beginning of the summer. So right now, I'm networking in person and just meeting people in person and word of mouth and things like that. And I'm just offering it exclusive right now. But you know, when the say uh, fall or you know when that comes, then I might go ahead and update the website.
Okay.
But the media personality book package is just something I recently came up with. And everyone who I talk to in person, I offer it to them. I do advertise it on my social media, even though I haven't put it on my website. It's just not time. I'm just, you know, taking it through its paces right now.
Right.
And so we have the media personality book publishing package, and we have the Be Here book publishing package, which is the creme de la creme. With this one, this is for the author who is extremely busy, who wants to sell a lot of books. So with this particular publishing package, we take the book through traditional publishing. We do the websites, you know, the press releases, all of the, you know, everything that publishing entails. And but I offer something additional in terms of percentage splits because the author owns the rights to their books through my company. We don't own anything. So you have the freedom to go out there, print copies through my company, and go out there and get busy as if you're an independent, but you have the amenities of a major New York publishing house, like Simon and Schuster or Random House.
Mhm.
But I saw an additional need where um, some people wanted to sell some books in bulk, and they were frustrated because they were stagnant for years. They had great books, get some sales here and there, but they were stagnant because they couldn't put any energy into their projects after it was released. So I created a publishing avenue where all you have to do is be where I tell you to be. It's 1 year of public relations built into this, and I'm simultaneously selling their books in bulk to organizations. So I'm keeping their name relevant because you can't expect people to buy an inordinate amount of copies of your book. There's no trail of results behind you online. So I'm taking care of the PR. All you have to do is show up. You don't have to plan anything. Be here. I know you're busy, but be here. Get on this broadcast, go to this book signing, go to this radio station, go to this television station, right? And then simultaneously, we are behind the scenes doing what we need to do to develop partnerships and get the book sold in bulk. But you're a believable commodity to these people that we're selling your book in bulk to as well. So we're going to have the Be Here book publishing package right beside the media personality book publishing package as well.
Okay, so you start out with the goal.
Yes.
That cost is
I think we range from 4 to 7,000.
okay. And then it goes to platinum.
Yeah, the platinum's gonna be 7.
All
Yes.
right. And then I think you have a package just for children's books.
Yes, yes, because it's relatively the same. It's just different. There's different productive things that publishing package entails that maybe some of the other ones don't.
More illustrations than the other packages would incur.
Exactly, illustrations and yeah, that's virtually it. But roughly everything is the same. The way we do the press releases, because every author gets 3 press releases when we sign the agreement, when we do their book cover. We normally get the book cover done in 24 hours or less. The author tells us how they want it to look, and boom, highest quality. Looks like Random House assignment and shoots it in 24 hours. Then we do a press release for that book cover to let the world know, like, hey, you're serious and you have a book on the way. This is coming soon, and then we do now available. So um, that's what that entails is the same things. It's just a bit, sometimes the creation time is a bit more lengthy than 3 weeks. You have sketches and you have to be approved, and you have to fill them in with color, but it's still fast, at the same time. So there's not much of a departure from that package to the platinum. It's just, a few more intricacies that are a little different.
Well, you can sure tell a professional because we've gotten everything done in less than 30 minutes. And that's good. I tell you that you can tell that motivational speaker because I'm thinking, hey, I got a book in me too. My pastor always tells me everybody's got a book in them. I don't know. For Belinda, who will probably be talking back and forth, maybe with her or for her or whatever, because I definitely wanted to meet you after speaking with her. She was very impressed. Um, but um, I feel that when you said it was your ministry, that it wasn't just words. It was something that you felt. Um, and like I say, I've heard the horror stories from a lot of um, authors that I am personally aware of. I also follow a couple of authors that started most of the authors that I follow started out with podcasts and audio books that progressed up before then Audible jumped in and started snatching up everything. So um I like what I hear from you, and I'm hoping that everybody that views this will like everything that you said, and that if they are in that market for putting their thoughts, their feelings, whatever they want to do to come up on down on paper, that they will consider you. So, like I said, we've covered all of it. I'm very impressed with you. I'm very impressed with Lightning Fast Book Publishing. Do you have any final words?
Um, Not really. I just want to say thank you again for having me on your platform, and I just wanted to just let the people know what I've written and where they can purchase my books as well. We have The Universe is inviting you in. Your best life possible awaits you.
Okay.
And then after that, I wrote, 'Cause I, I, I've heard the horror stories from a lot of authors that started out with podcasts and audio books, and All we have is now, how to create what's missing and do it now.
Well, so hold with that one. Explain that one.
Okay.
Give me a quick explanation for that one. I like the way you were going with that.
Yeah, all we have is now was a revelation. It was just a revelation. I was explaining the universe is inviting you into someone. Um, and somehow in that explanation, I said, all we have is now. And that person said, that's a book title. And then I said, you know what? It probably is, because you know how the universe communicates with you. So I got a deep revelation, and it had to be put into a book form. I went to, the Spirit revealed Genesis 1, verses 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then verses down, it says that we have his image and likeness. This is all in God's introduction to mankind, in the first chapter of his written introduction to mankind. And so I got a revelation and I saw that the first facet that God revealed of himself was that he was a creator. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And it showed me that God is a creator before anything else, or else he would have never introduced himself as a creator. And then I was shown that we have his image and likeness. So if God clearly says that he's a creator before anything else, then what does that make us?
The
We're,
creation.
we're creators. And so throughout the book, I show that the best opportunities that we're ever going to encounter are the ones that we create. We're given divine inspirations, pictures of who we are, pictures of what we showed up here to create and how to impact the earth. But nothing substantial or worthwhile happens until we exercise our power to create. So it was written to shift the paradigm from waiting for opportunities and having a limited perspective of yourself to having unlimited perspective of yourself that matches your unlimited potential. It's an opportunity for a shift of consciousness that's going to allow you to begin the rest of your life. When you understand that the best opportunities are the ones that you create and that you are literally a creator, then you'll never leave anything to chance. And any change that you want to experience, then you're going to exercise your creative power to create it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I like that. So let's continue with your other books.
Okay. Then we have Choices, The Young Black Man's Guide to Successful Living.
Okay.
Then after that, I wrote How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life.
Okay. Okay.
Then after that, I took a pause and then I went and wrote The Successful Dreamer, How to Unapologetically Live Your Truth.
Okay. All right.
And then my latest, right after The Successful Dreamer, I wrote How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women.
Run that one back.
How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women.
Okay. Okay. I it yeah, it's the title alone gives you kind of pause to say, what's it really saying? I
Exactly.
like that. I like that. And you
Yeah.
say one is missing, right?
Yes, that was my very first book that I did with Les Brown's two top speakers, Kevin Bracey and Johnny Brimmer. We did a massive dose of motivation. I was offered that book contract to co-author that book with them in my last semester of college.
Okay.
But it was a great book, but the public, as I was selling that book, the public wanted my own book. And so once I sold out, I never reprinted because the public wanted my individual offerings. That's what they were calling
Okay.
for.
Okay. 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 So you're an author first. And I think that plays into the comfort level of authors, because they're not talking to somebody that just filling in a niche to make things happen. You know how it is to be that author. You know how it is to go out and put out that product and how you want that product to ultimately look when it hits somebody's hands. So I like that. So I see that you do, and we're winding down. I see that you do ebooks. Will you ever get into audio?
I've been asked, and I do have the resources. And the authors who do want to create audiobooks, I have the resources for those as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's something I think that Belinda has talked about and that she want to get into. So
Yes.
Matthew, I appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate the quick response because I mean it was like, I had a thought, she said she made a call, and then we hooked up, and it was very quick. And if you give your people that amount of, respect and recognition, hey, I'm sure you're going places, but I'm praying that you'll do more. You're an author, you're a publisher, but it sounds like you got a you got a word in there that you can
Yeah.
stand up on that pulpit, you know. So don't be surprised if my pastor or one of the junior guys get in touch with you and want you to come up for one of our men's day or something where the men are speaking. You're right down the street from us, 45 minutes, an hour away. So I'm hoping that you'll, when they do call, and I'm thinking that they will at some joint, that you will entertain that and we can press the flesh, and not just over the airlines. I mean, the airwaves here, airlines. I'm thinking about travel.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you for coming on. I definitely would like to keep in touch with you because you've touched on a couple things that I want to do. One of the things I want to do before year's end is have an authors roundtable.
Okay.
Um, and I think you would definitely be an addition and a welcome addition to that if I see that to fruition. So again, I thank everybody for tuning into the spotlight and meeting Matthew. I'm asking that if you are looking to publish another book and you're not married to the publisher that you are now, give this young brother a chance. Speak with him. It's something where you can make the call and speak right to the guy that's the creator of this. So for the voice spotlight, I'm saying thank you for tuning in and good night. And I appreciate everyone. Take care, Matt.
Thanks for having me.